Is Greece being saved to save Europe and the Germans and the Finns and everyone else who's a creditor, or is Greece being saved to save Greece?
Greece is not being saved. Greece is being kept.
Or are they throwing a lifeline?
Greece is being kept.
Drip-fed?
Greece is being kept on life support in order to save German politicians.
Is there anything in this plan that will save Greece?
Well, I mean, some of the reforms that are being imposed doubtless will do some good. The problem is that reforms that are imposed from outside, the Greek people won't have ownership of, and they'll be resented being treated as a colony.
So then the problem is the Greek people themselves, who don't want to independently, and they talk about sovereignty a lot, independently get on with reforming their economy and taking away, let's say, some of the corruption, some of the kleptocracy, some of the vested interests.
Well, ultimately, Greece ought to be a democracy, and it shouldn't be up to the Germans or others to go there and run the country, not in the Greek people's interest, but in their own interest.
Though. Despite all the flaws of the Eurozone, and you and I talked about many of them previously, and there are an awful lot, they still want to be in it. So
yeah, that is the tragedy. They've convinced themselves that Brexit would be so terrible, so catastrophic, that they are willing to continue bearing absolutely massive suffering in order to stay in. For now. You know, I think that with more economic suffering, with years more of being treated like a colony by hated creditors, that the Brexit movement is going to strengthen.
Let me ask you quickly before we come to Julia, who is actually in Germany, and ask about the reaction to what was a very hardline negotiating tactic taken by Merkel. And this has been described in many of the local newspapers back home in Germany, that the Germans have come out of this looking ugly, hard-hearted and stingy. Do you think this is going to be a game changer for politics in Germany?
Well, it's a game changer for politics across Europe. I mean, there is now fear and anger towards Germany in France, Italy and other countries where previously the elites were pro-Euro and pro-EU, and now they're having question marks over how closely they want to be in a German Europe.